have the new one, the new MacBook Pro. Hate it. I hate it.
With the touch bar?
Yeah, I hate it.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just like, because I guess I need a desktop. I don't need a laptop.
Yeah.
So it's like, it doesn't do what I want it to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My buddy actually, like, craziest thing. Okay, so this guy here, custom built PC. I had no idea I was getting this. So one day he calls me over. He's telling me he's building a PC for his brother, right? And he is, but that's aside from the point. So I come over and he's like, yeah, I just wanted to show you, man. Like, it's so cool, whatever. And he's telling me about all the specs. I don't know half of them, like, whatever. So I don't know that much about computers. And he's like, yeah. So like, here, I just want to restart it, like make sure everything's working properly. So it restarts and it goes to the login screen. And it had a photo of me on it. I'm like, what the fuck is going on here? This is so weird. He's like, yeah, just like log in. I'm like, I don't know what the login, dude. Like, I don't know. He's like, yeah, just put which I've changed now. So if anyone steals my computer.
Yeah. Well, like, I mean, now you're telling everybody that you.
Okay, so I haven't changed it. I will now change it. And so I literally said that, and he's like giving me these faces, like just smiling, right? And like, what the fuck is wrong with your face right now? Like, what's wrong? He's like, you idiot! It's your computer. Like, what do you mean it's my computer? Right? It was like the craziest state of shock. I couldn't believe it. But this thing is like insane.
See, and that's what I want. I think my next big, like, tech advancement or purchase would probably be like investing in a really good desktop, because I think like that is where it goes, because I get very frustrated editing, especially when you're editing like thousands and thousands of photos. I get so frustrated. And I know, like, at one of the music festivals that we were at, one of the guys actually brought his desktop with him, and I thought that he was so dumb for doing that, but then as we're editing, I'm like, this guy's a genius. Like, why didn't I do that?
If you can create like a good setup, let me like not have this go off.
My thing's on mute.
Okay, yeah, well. Yeah, I think if you're bringing it like with you, which I would not recommend if it's this heavy.
Well, yeah, I would probably go for like one of the more compact.
I don't know if there's any this big.
I don't know either. Probably like more realistic.
Yeah. Be like, can I get like suitcase handle and like that'd be ideal.
Get like a Pelican case just for my like desktop.
Yeah. But do you do most of your edits when you're back home, or do you do some on the fly?
It is like 50-50.
Oh shit. Okay.
Yeah. So like.
So why don't you get the iPad Pro then? Because that would make sense.
That's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking like maybe I should get the iPad Pro.
Do you have a desktop PC as well?
No.
Okay.
So I just have a laptop, but I also have never owned a tablet before. So me getting an iPad Pro would be like a mix of me actually having a tablet for the first time ever.
Yeah.
And I'm like so excited about that. And everyone's like, how do you not own a tablet? But you know.
Yeah.
That, and then I would also have something for editing. Yeah. But then what I'm also waiting for, because we're talking about like Adobe, I want to get it once Adobe has perfected their softwares for the iPad. Because they're creating like a new version of Photoshop and Lightroom.
It's live.
Oh, it is?
It's live now, yeah.
Okay. I thought it was still in beta.
It might. Well, no. Photoshop, I know for a fact. About 2 weeks ago, I downloaded it because it just dropped. Like it was right after the Max conference and stuff.
Okay.
But yeah, the beta looks good. I don't know. Do you follow Peter McKinnon?
Oh yeah, sometimes.
Okay, so he did it was like a 12-minute video. It was long. He didn't say a word. He sat down at his desk at his office and just edited photos on his iPad. And it was pretty cool. Like, it was kind of relaxing. He had jazz music, but it was like, oh wow, like the iPad's like boss.
Yeah.
Welcome to the My Creative Friends podcast. In this show, I bring one, sometimes two good artistic friends. I keep looking at this, thinking that this is where the camera is. It's so trippy. I have like a massive 40-inch TV monitoring this. Hi. Introduce yourself.
Hi, my name's Karine. Also known as Some Next Shit on Instagram.
So, okay, first of all, I don't know if I ever got the backstory. Like, how did Some Next Shit come down?
Well, okay, so people that might know me from back in the day, I had a Tumblr that was doing really, really well, and it was as Some Next Shit.
That's something I've never heard someone say in my life.
Yeah.
I had a Tumblr that was doing well.
Yeah, and it was. Instagram started, so I was like, well, you know, just like to make it less complicated, I'm just going to be Some Next Shit. And then it just kind of stuck, and I never really changed it. And now everyone says that, like, it's like one of those epic OG, like, first year Instagram names. So now I don't really want to change it.
That's so sick. There's some people in the community that have, like, sick names, too. Like, Pause the World. I don't talk to him very much anymore, but his thing was, like, sick. And meanwhile, I'm Mississauga photographer.
I mean, that's still good. You're, like, putting Mississauga on the map.
Yo,
like,
thank
one
you.
follower
at
a time, you're putting Mississauga on the map.
That's an end goal for sure.
Yeah.
Honestly, the main reason was just that, like, of when someone searches for a Mississauga photographer.
Yeah, you're going to be the person.
Yeah. But now I'm moving to Milton, so.
I'm going to change it to Milton photographer. That doesn't
That's
ever
the question
ring.
I keep getting. But I think I'll make a separate.
Yeah, make it like your personal IG, like Milton photographer.
Milton, really, though? That's always been the struggle for me too. Is like, should I have a personal and then have that? Do you have a personal?
Well, that's my thing. So I'm thinking, because a lot of people are like, some next shit, the more I go up, they're like, it's not very professional. So I'm thinking I might make some next shit personal and then change my main account to a more professional name.
But do you think, because you shoot a lot of concerts and festivals, right? Do you think, obviously there's still professionalism. Like, I'm not saying there isn't, but I feel like a name like that is funny and catchy. And
it sticks out a lot in the like music industry. Yeah, which is good. But then if I'm doing a wedding and it's like shot by some next shit, it's kind of weird. Yeah, or like I was even thinking I might make some next shit a meme account because I love memes. But there's like one account that I follow, but they always talk about like model photography memes, and I'm like, that's great, but there's way more to photography than just shooting with models. So
I met you through the community and we were shooting models.
Yes.
Right? But
I didn't. I never really shot models. I just came for the fun of it.
So, yeah, right.
That, or I did a lot of street photography. I never really I think I might have taken like 3 pictures of models and I was like, I'm done with that. But yeah, I don't even know when meetups are going on. So like when I see one, I'll try to go for it unless I fall asleep, and just like the last meetup that you hosted and I fell asleep.
You fell asleep?
I like woke up. I woke up at like 1 or 2 in the morning and I was like, shit, I was supposed to go out.
Yeah, it's okay. I think that was the majority of the people. We had like 7 people, but it was still fun. It was still good. I like to open this up with a bio. So why don't you tell us a little bit about how you started, why you started?
So it was always a hobby for me. Never wanted to do it professionally. I thought about it once, but then I was like, oh man, the odds of me like becoming a professional is 1 in a million. Don't want to try that. So then I decided to go to school for something completely different. So I went to school for like criminology. And then while I was in school, so I did criminology and forensics. I wanted to be a forensic anthropologist. Okay. I found out you had to go to med school for that. So I was like, screw that, because I am not good at bio. And then afterwards, I kind of realized that I wanted to be a crime scene photographer.
Okay, I'm starting to see the transition.
Yeah, so I started to like transition into that, and then I got training for that. I was actually like a teaching assistant for crime scene photography at our school. I got like trained by like actual professionals on it. Wow. I had a placement where I actually worked at a morgue and did like forensic photography there. So it's always been a huge thing. So that's what I want to do, but in the meantime, I'm doing what I'm doing now, which is like...
Oh, that's still what you want to
do?
Yeah,
that is still what I want to do, yeah.
I thought it was going to be like, yeah, and then this happened.
I'm just like twiddling my thumbs, waiting for that position to be open so I could be like, yes.
Crazy. That's so cool.
There's only 2 forensic photographers in all of Canada, so it's like I have to wait for one of them to either quit or retire.
Why don't you just add a third? I don't understand.
I don't know either, but yeah, there's 2 of them, so I have to wait for one to eventually leave.
So is that under... like the federal government, or like how does that work?
That's like provincially certified as yeah.
So why is there only 2? Because I mean,
because it's photography is so new in forensics, so there's not too much on it, and a lot of the photographers that are forensic photographers are not actually photographers. They're just like police officers that shoot an auto, and they're like, you know, whatever. But as certified like professional photographers that are forensic photographers, at least to my knowledge, the last time I checked, there's only 2. It's like I've seen a lot of gross things.
Man, you really gotta talk to my girlfriend because you guys get along really well. Okay, so obviously you shoot a lot of concerts in festivals, right? Yeah. So your work is incredible. I want to say that first of all. Who would you want? Like, who is like? I know, obviously, like now I know you want to go and do a completely different thing. I thought.
Yeah, and a lot of people don't realize that. So when I tell them that, they're like, "So what? You're just doing concerts for like the fun of it?" Yeah, for the time basically.
Being. Yeah. But if you, I mean, obviously you're passionate about music because otherwise you wouldn't be doing it, right? Because you could be doing any other type of photography. Who is like a DJ or a festival that you'd want to shoot, like as like a dream or?
I really want to do like EDC Las Vegas. So it's Electric Daisy Carnival in Las Vegas.
Electric Daisy Festival?
Carnival, yeah.
Carnival? Yeah. That's sick. Okay.
So apparently it's like goes out throughout the night. So it's like when the sun rises to when the sun sets. Okay. And it's at the the NASCAR racetrack in Las Vegas.
Oh,
so they
shit.
convert that into like this like giant festival, and like every time I see photos and stuff, I'm like, wow. That and like Burning Man, because like
Burning Man, yeah, I've heard, yeah,
because Burning Man's like iconic, and I would love to take a picture of a giant fire. I mean, I could do that at home and just like get really close to fire, but I mean,
you have problems with your camera overheating now, so I think I don't know. Is it easier to make connections in the festival and concert space than it is like, you know, maybe being a portrait photographer? I mean, I would assume so.
I would say
because there's so many probably different touch points.
Yes and no. It's just kind of like you're mainly a portrait photographer, so you probably see like when you first started, there's like big group, and then you notice that like slowly your circle goes smaller, and then you start working with like higher end people. So it's the same thing like with concerts. It's like you start off like on the outskirts, and you just hear about some of these top photographers, and you're like, oh my god, one day, and then next thing you know, you're like side by side working with them, and then you're like, wow, like I'm in that like little inner circle
for sure.
Yeah.
But what about on like as far as getting gigs now, right? So I feel like I would assume there are more touch points when you go to one show that you can connect and network with that could refer you or get you into another gig.
It is.
For a portrait, like you're shooting for one person, or you're shooting for one client.
I mean, it is a lot more like networking and like hustling. So, you know, you have to figure out who's the right person. So like some people think like, oh, asking other photographers helps. But then, like, the more that you get up there, you realize that it's, like, not really the photographers. It's more the managers you have to talk to. It's more, like, the people that are doing production. And people don't realize that. So the higher up you go, you realize that it's, like, knowing photographers is great. But it's, like, knowing those other, you know, smaller people. It's
still a select few, right? That makes sense.
And you have to stand out, too. Because everyone wants to be a concert photographer. So you have to know. And, like, I remember I was talking to somebody about concert photography, and they said it's kind of a hybrid of street shooting and sport photography, because you have to be good at street shooting, like, low lights.
Yeah.
But then sport photography, because it's fast action. So, like, if you're able to, like, harness both of them, then, you know, you'll be good at concerts.
I totally see the sports thing. That makes complete sense to me. Did you start shooting street? Like a lot of people?
Yeah, so I started in street, and then my first actual professional work was car photography. I actually worked at a dealerships and stuff.
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't know that, but that's actually my first ever professional gig was working at car dealerships.
That's cool.
Yeah, and, you know, taking stock photos for them. Yeah.
That's awesome. The reason I bring up street photography is because the way to get good street photos is by being constantly aware of what's up, down, left, right, like all around you. And I feel like being able to bring that into a concert and festival setting, because it's like all the best images that you're going to get are like some of the candid, like organic moments that are happening around you. And like, do you find that, I don't know, maybe that's a weird question, but do you find that like shooting street helped you to be more aware of what's happening?
Yeah, like I said, it's like half street and half sport. And that's what a lot of like, that's what I try to tell people too. Like, even if they're like, oh, well, I don't know how to get into concerts. I'm like, well, just do street photography. Like, learn that, like harness that. Like, there's even quite a few like street photography photos, like even some of the photos that you've taken. I've looked at that and I'm like, you know, I like that color scheme. I'm going to try recreating that color scheme in a concert.
Yeah.
And that's like things that I've done. So like even like the neon lights, there's so many like of those neon light edits that you can add to concerts. And that's what I harness. So like even a lot of my edit styles in concerts is a lot of my street photography editing.
Actually, I was curious to know one thing. So, I mean, those festivals get crazy, right? You got people doing all these different things.
Yeah.
They're consuming different things.
Yeah.
What is like one of the crazier stories that you can share?
I mean, like you get really injured. The one of the shoots that I did last week, I had a black eye because someone accidentally punched me. They were like fist bumping as I turned around, and then they just like punched me right in the face.
That is like that. I feel like that's something that someone would joke around about, like, oh, like how would you get hurt at a festival concert, like getting punched from a fist? Like that is so funny. Okay, I'm gonna go, and I explained this to you before.
Yeah.
I have a segment called Behind the Snap.
Okay. Yes.
I'm gonna show you 3 of my favorite photos of yours.
Okay.
And you're just gonna give me a little context around.
Okay. Perfect.
All right.
Okay. Yeah, I love that photo. I actually posted that photo in color when I first shot it.
Oh, really?
And it didn't get much conversion.
Okay.
And like lately, I don't know if you've realized, but I've been doing a lot of black and white photography.
I have noticed a lot of black.
Yeah. So this was one of the first like black and white photographies that I experiment with, or one of the black and white photos I decided to experiment with.
Yeah.
And I found that like so many people told me that like this was like the photo. Yeah. So that photo was of a guy. It was at Ever After.
Okay.
So it was like right before, I forget who was playing, but right before one of like the big bass drops. So the guy was obviously standing with his friends, like listening for the bass to drop. And as soon as I saw that, I was like, yes, like this is like the shot. And I remember the guy actually found me on Instagram and DM'd me, and he's like, hey, can I have a high res like photo of this? Like I love it.
He found it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I get a lot of random DMs from people. They're like, hey, I saw you at a festival. Like, do you have my photo? And I'm like, I can check. But this guy, like, you know, he stood out. So, like, right away I found him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, there are thousands and thousands of people around you.
Yeah.
But you're secluding it to this one little block. And then
yeah.
I think that's why it really, really works.
I think also another thing, I've been talking to a professional black and white photographer. And he said that one thing that people don't realize about black and white is, like, now since there's no color, it's all about framing and placement.
Yeah.
So it's like when you're shooting color, it's great because if, you know, your framing is not as good as like you wanted it to be, you could still like maybe enhance some colors and get like the color pops. Yeah. But now you don't have colors. So now it's just framing. I mean, I challenge you to one day try doing a whole shoot in black and white, and it is a little bit challenging, but like you'll get like some of those money shots, and when you show people, they're going to be more, you know, interested into like the emotion of black and white versus color. Yeah. Okay, so that one's actually, I took it almost a year ago. Mm-hmm. This was at a Christmas light festival.
What?
Yeah.
This is in Toronto?
Yeah.
Oh shit, okay.
Yeah, and that's one thing I like to challenge myself. So I like, when I am taking photos in Toronto, I try to make it not look like Toronto. So. Well,
yeah, it would never guess.
So this was a Christmas light festival. The artist that I was shooting for, he said that his like manager needed like some Christmas themed photos. So I found one of those Christmas light shows, and I'm like, oh, let's go. We went on like a random Tuesday, so there was like no one there. Yeah. And then when I saw this area, the colors are actually like bright purple and like turquoise blue everywhere. Okay.
You killed it.
I killed it completely, the colors.
That's so sick.
Yeah, so like
it actually looks a bit more like
it looks very like extraterrestrial. That's kind of like the
upside
vibe
down and
that was like kind of like the look that I was going for.
That's so sick.
But yeah, if you were to like go to that setting or like where I was shooting, you would not think about that, because I think I've shown a few people, like I'm like, oh, this is the corner where I took the photo, and everyone's like, no, it's not, and I'm like, no,
it is. Let's do this one here.
Oh yeah, that was recently shot at Ever After of this year.
Sorry, so is this in this same show?
No, yes, but 2 different years.
2 different years, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've been shooting Ever After for the past, I don't know how many years.
That's so sick.
Yeah, so this guy was just jumping on stage, and I just got it at like the perfect time. Like those, like that little tiny. It's perfect. When I saw that, I was like, man, I'm like, I actually did a good job. Sometimes I like hype myself up. I'm like, wow, like this photo is like the photo. I injured my knee earlier in the summer, so I was almost like out for the season for shooting. But I was like, screw it, I'm just gonna like bandage up my knee. And I was standing on top.
I think I saw photos where you went and you were just like bandaged up. You're like,
basically the entire festival was me documenting like all of the golf cart rides I had.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Because I couldn't walk up and down the hills, so I had to get like my own little golf cart driver. And he's a great photographer too. Okay. We ended up becoming really good friends, and like if he's watching this, like your work's amazing. And I remember I was standing on a rail for this. And then people started shaking the rail, and I like fell off, but I got the photo.
Oh, it was at this time.
Yeah.
This is when you got hurt.
Yeah. No, this was after I got hurt. I got hurt like a couple days before I had to go to this festival.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So, like,
that's what I thought you said, but then you said you're on the...
I was standing on the rail, and then I got pushed off because like the rails, people like to headbang on it, so they'll grab the rails and like ride them. Okay. And then, you know, when you're standing on the rail, you just kind of like fall.
That's been behind the snap. Ooh. Now, what me and Jarek did is... After it was done, we went behind the snap and we like coordinated a snap. Behind the snap. Okay. Oh my god. The coolest show excited. On YouTube. I think I have maybe one more question in here. Yes. So I have to pick a good one.
Yes. You just hit yourself.
Just let me casually do things. Okay. So here's because you know my channel is a lot of like just educational, right? Yeah. So in 30 seconds. Yeah. Okay. For someone who wants to get into concert festivals like that, how do they start? What do they start doing?
I would say number one, invest in low light lenses.
Okay.
Like, don't even worry about your camera, body, or sensor. Get the low light lenses because that will help you more than anything.
Okay.
Number two, hustle, hustle, hustle. And like number three, you have to find your own unique something that makes you stand out over like the other photographers, because there's so many event photographers. So you have to have something very unique to your style that will make people want to hire you.
Perfect. Well, thank you for being on.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
This has been, I almost said behind the snap. That's a segment. This has been My Creative Friends. See you guys next time.